Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, I am Rajarsi Dasa. Welcome to Hare Krishna today. On today's program we have our special guest again, His Grace Akrura Dasa. Akrura Prabhu, welcome to the program.
Hare Krishna.
On last week's program, Akrura Prabhu was presenting the subject matter about duties towards the body and then duty towards the soul. So he spoke about the body and everyone's activities are wrapped around eating, sleeping, mating and defending. But then we ran out of time. So we are now going to ask Akrura Prabhu to continue with this subject matter about the soul, duties towards the soul. Please continue, Prabhu.
Okay, it's my pleasure. In order for us to understand the duties towards the soul, first of all, we need to understand the soul. What is the soul? Where it comes from? What are the qualities of the soul? And where it's going? And why is it here? So, the soul has very special qualities. These three most special qualities that the soul has are Sat Chit Ananda. These are three words put together in one. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means full of bliss. These three qualities of the soul, these three major qualities of the soul are actually identical to the qualities of the super soul or Paramatma or Ishvara or Bhagwan or God. These three qualities are same as God, so in a way we are same as God. But we better keep in mind here that we are only qualitatively same as God. Quantitatively, we are a very, very, very minute fraction of God. It would be a comparison of one little cup of water comparing to the whole Pacific Ocean. That would be something like a comparison between us and God. So once we understand that our soul is three major qualities which are same as God, so our soul has the same qualities as God, and it is only qualitatively same as God, quantitatively it's very, very minute, we come to understand that we're actually a tiny little fraction of God, which is being separated from God. So that tiny little fraction of God naturally wants to go back to God. It wants to go where it came from. It wants to go to its original home. Then, if we are a minute fraction of God and that minute fraction wants to go back to God, then the question arises, why are we here? If we are a fraction of God and we eternally were with God, then what brought us here? is this a place for us to be? Because it's a temporary place. Everybody who comes here must die. The body that we are residing in does not have any of the qualities that the soul has. So this is an incompatible situation. We are a spirit soul which is full of spiritual qualities inside, packed inside this material body which has no spiritual qualities. It is completely temporary. So we are in this incompatible situation because the original purpose of the soul is to serve the super soul, to serve Paramatma, to serve God. And when that tiny, minute fraction starts to think, oh, what about my own sense gratification? What about somebody serving me or me serving myself? How about enjoying myself separate from God? When that kind of a thinking comes to our mind, we are sent right down to this material world. In this material world, which is in Sanskrit called Bhautik Jagat, there are all kinds of enjoyments available in terms of all kinds of different species. There are 8,400,000 different species of animals, different species altogether. Every different species is enjoying their senses or themselves in about a unique different way, and they're really able to enjoy. So whatever kind of enjoyment we want to have, God being the Supreme Personality, the Supreme Father, He gives us the facility that, okay, you want to enjoy this way, enjoy that way. And He gives us that kind of a body. So different kinds of enjoyment that soul wants to engage in goes through into different kinds of animal species. But then, at the end of it, there is a gate. The gate to come out. That gate to come out is the human life. Because in the human life, we are given an intelligence enough to understand we're not this body, we're spirit soul, we do not belong here, we belong somewhere else, we are Son of God, and our eternal happiness will only come when we go back to our eternal Father. And how are we going to do it? So these questions, in order to tackle these questions, you have to have intelligence. No animal you will ever find that the animals got together in the forest and they're discussing as to how to get out of this material world. The animals don't have that intelligence. They will never be able to do that. The only thing they will do is how to find food, how to find a good place to sleep, how to find a mate to mate, how to defend themselves. So even in the human body, if we are only worried about 4 of these things, then I am sorry to say, no offense to any of your viewers, that we are no better than an animal. If we're only going to worry about sleeping, eating, mating, and defending, which every other animal is doing, we're no better than an animal. If we want to use our intelligence in the right direction, we need to inquire about the absolute truth. We need to inquire as to who we are, why are we here, what are we doing, why are we suffering, and how this suffering can end. Because if the suffering will not end, we are in this cycle of repeated birth and death. It's called the samsara. In Sanskrit, we call it samsara. Samsara means janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, or birth, death, old age, and disease. This is a never-ending cycle that we would never come out of unless and until we use our intelligence and we use the teachings given in the Bhagavad Gita to try to re-establish that lost relationship that we have with God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That lost relationship, that lost love has to be revived.
So you're saying duty towards the soul requires understanding its relationship with God, its source.
Yes, that's the first step. The duty towards soul is first step, we realize that we have a soul. Second step, we realize what are the qualities of the soul. Third step, where the soul comes from. If the soul has these qualities, it must be coming from God. So then we realize that we are actually a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We're part and parcel of God. Then we have to come to realize that, oh, we are actually here in a place where we do not belong. Why we do not belong here is because we're always looking for happiness. Always, always, all human beings are looking for happiness. But where is the happiness? Every happiness here has a consequence attached to it. You want to be happy by eating sweets, diabetes is standing right beside you. You want to enjoy by having salty foods, the heart disease or the high blood pressure standing on the other side. What do you want to enjoy? Bitter? Nobody enjoys bitter. And nobody enjoys no taste. So everything, every sense, I only talked about food, but every sense that we want to enjoy has a consequence. It will come and hit you. You want to be happy, the distress is standing right beside. So although everybody is trying to be happy, but we have not succeeded so far, and we are not going to succeed in becoming happy and having any kind of eternal happiness. Because, for example, what makes us happy? What makes us happy is not the house that we live in, it's the family and the love within the family is what makes us happy. We think we can buy everything with money. Of course, you can buy a house with the money. But that love, can you purchase that? No. And that love, how long can that love last? Because, as we said, we're all temporary, in a temporarily material situation. So this body is going to end really soon. The parents or the grandparents we love to death, our grandparents, where are they? If we wanted to remain happy, would we really have taken the option of losing our grandparents? No. But did we have any control over that? No. Many of us don't have parents. Did we ever want to lose them? No. Do we ever really make any important decision of our life? You tell me. Did you choose to take birth where you took birth? Did you choose your parents? Did you choose your children? Did you ever choose to get sick? No. But did you never get sick? Are you choosing to get old? No. But are you not going to get old? I'm not calling you old now, but in the time to come, nobody wants to get old, but we're forced to get old. Nobody wants to get disease. We're forced to get disease. Nobody wants to die, but we're forced to die. So all these things make us realize that that happiness that we're looking for is not really here, because everything is temporary. Soon as you develop something, you develop a relationship with someone, either they're ready to go or you're ready to go. So, the happiness that the human being is looking for is eternal happiness. The eternal happiness is in the spiritual world. This spirit soul belongs to the spiritual world, because it is here right now, because it wanted to enjoy the material world or any kind of enjoyment. It is time for us to realize that, okay, enough enjoyment. We have now determined that there is no enjoyment in this world. We are chewing the chewed. Many intelligent people will tell young people, oh, never get married. But everybody does want to get married. I say, okay, don't do this. Don't have children. But this is how the material world runs. Everybody learns after making their own mistakes. People do not learn from other people's mistakes. So, we are trying to chew something that is already being chewed by so many other people, and we're still trying to get happiness out of it. The real happiness is for the soul to go and connect to the super soul. That is what Bhagavad Gita tells us. The way to connect to the super soul. There are many verses in the Bhagavad Gita, such as Manmana Manman Bhakto. Krishna says that worship me, offer your obeisances to me, offer everything to me, and you will come to me. So, one way of reviving that relationship, that lost relationship of our soul with the super soul, is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We chant on these beads, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This chanting of the holy name is a genuine cry for of a baby to get the attention of the baby's mother. We are in this helpless situation that being a spirit soul, we are encaged in this material body and we're in this temporary situation. We want to get out of this material body. The spirit soul, which is eternal, wants to go back to its eternal residence and be eternal again.
Actually, for people, a lot of people, even though there may be some idea in their mind that, yeah, there is a God and maybe there is some spiritual world, but their daily pursuit is towards the eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So how do we reconcile? You're saying that we're desiring or we want to go there, but our activities does not depict that.
Yes. So, the Hare Krishna movement or the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita is that all the duties that we're performing for the benefit of this body are all well and good. But at the same time, we are responsible for more than that. Because that much even animals can do. So, what we can do more is to understand that we also have a spirit soul and the spirit soul also has its needs. The spirit soul wants to go back to the eternal world. So while doing all the eating, sleeping, mating and defending, we also have to add the fifth chapter to our life, which is to perform activities which are beneficial to our soul rather than our material body. So while we're engaged in 4 different activities for the benefit of our material body, we also have to look after the welfare of our soul.
There seems to be a lack of faith or conviction about that destination because it is tangible, the eating, the sleeping, the mating, but how is that faith, that conviction that I am an eternal soul, there's God the reservoir of all pleasure, and it's worth it for me to sacrifice and make an investment in that direction? How do we come about with that conviction that it will bring me to a point that I will actually dedicate my life to do that?
Yes. First of all, we need to recognize that we are the spirit soul. And then we need to recognize that we are actually suffering. We are suffering not only by birth, death, old age and disease, we're also suffering by another threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are Adhyatmic, Adibhautik and Adidevic. So, translated in English, there are miseries caused by material nature, all kinds of weather related things. There are miseries caused by other people to us, and there are miseries caused to us by our own mind, called the Adhyatmic. So, we really need to understand that we are in a miserable situation, although we only want to remember good times. out of all the videos that we may have at home, we want to pull out the video of when we had the good time, maybe a child's birthday or somebody's wedding in the family, and put that on and watch that over and over again. But we also have videos of sometimes of funerals of our loved ones. We do not want to pull those videos out all the time and watch them again, because they bring us the feeling of sorrow. So we only want to remember the good. Also, God has given this ability to us to be forgetful. We forget all the problems, all the miseries, all the hard time that we have gone through. Because if we remember it all, it would be so difficult for us to even survive. We only we want to remember good things. So that's why we really think that we are enjoying, but we're not really enjoying. So slowly and gradually, it is not an overnight process, but slowly and gradually, as people study the Bhagavad Gita, hear discourses on Bhagavad Gita, it would give them a reason and an understanding as to why we are suffering.
Akrura Prabhu, thank you very much. We have come to the end of today's program, and we would like to thank Akrura Prabhu very much for this wonderful enlightenment on the message of Bhagavad Gita. We hope that this would awaken some desire to pursue the study of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much for being on the program. I'm Rajarsi Dasa saying Hare Krishna, and do join us again next week for a continuing program. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna